Good morning everyone, today's another pre-maintenance checklist video, which means we're going over all of the different campaigns which are ending with the coming maintenance. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Alright, so the very first thing I want to go over is, of course, the keyword. The keyword is return_of_the_big_boys. Alright, once you type that in, you're going to press escape. You're going to go to your systems, get campaign items, receive item account, and you will get 50 star gems, as well as 3 rare drop rate plus 25% for 1 hour each. So that is pretty nice. The next thing I want to go over is, of course, the mission pass. The mission pass is going to be ending with the coming maintenance, so make sure that you do complete it or finish as much as you can, because there are quite a lot of goodies, including an R Reform September 2023 ticket. Remember, this is a selector ticket, lets you pick anything out of the current SG scratch, so make sure to pick this up and then just pick up whatever you want. Another notable item is, of course, the personal shop use 3 days, so if you are a free-to-play player, make sure to get to at least tier 24 so that you can get this, so that you can use the personal shop and sell items, even though it's only 3 days, but nevertheless, it's better than nothing, right? The next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the pre-announced urgent quest schedule. This will be going away actually a couple days before maintenance, so just keep that in mind. Make sure to take full advantage of this if you are planning to run any mining rig defense, because they literally tell you when it happens. And on top of the scheduled maintenance, we also have the rare drop rate plus 100% campaign, which you can double dip. So it's a good idea to make sure that you run mining rig defense whenever you can, or even the haunted domain as well, since both urgent quests benefit from the 100% RDR. So hopefully you get a Tisha or even a Flugen guard. The next campaign that is going away is, of course, the rare drop rate plus 100% campaign. This will be ending with the coming maintenance, so if you do want to take advantage of this, you just want to farm like crazy this week, and next week, unfortunately, we will no longer get this rare drop rate plus 100%. Sega's just really sneaky like that. Next week, we can finally farm the new 10-star rarity weapons normally through the Darkfall Solace, since we are getting the new Darkfall Solace urgent quest, and hopefully it drops a little bit more often there, but unfortunately, we will no longer be able to benefit from this extra 100% RDR, so they are a little bit sneaky like that, but whatever, it is what it is. The next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the giant mutants are going away, so we'll no longer be able to farm giant mutants in South Rotem, North Rotem, as well as Central Rotem. They will simply just go poof and they will disappear, so we'll just have the regular veterans instead. We won't have any giant mutants anymore, so that is also a little bit unfortunate. I kind of wish they stayed a little bit longer. I felt like it was really fun hunting down these giant mutants because it gave people something to do while we were waiting for a veteran to spawn. It kind of smoothed the whole process. Honestly, I would like to see them just change the spawn timers for veterans from 5 minutes down to like 3 minutes or even 2 minutes, so that, you know, the flow is just a lot nicer on how you kill the veterans. You don't have to wait as much, because with its current respawn time at 5 minutes, when you kill one, sometimes if you don't get a giant mutant to spawn, you know, there is some downtime where people are just sitting around waiting for the veterans to spawn. So I do hope that they do make that a little bit more smoother, so that, you know, you're constantly moving and killing stuff and you feels like you're very efficient that way. But nevertheless, the giant mutants are going away right after maintenance. Now, the next thing that's going away is a rather big one, and that is, of course, the seasonal event. So you will no longer be able to farm any more Halloween 2023 seasonal points. So make sure to farm up as much points as you can before the coming maintenance, because after the maintenance, you won't be able to farm any more points. However, if you want to buy stuff from the seasonal shop, you're still going to be able to buy stuff. As you can see here, the exchange seasonal point shop does not go away until the 22nd, so you've got plenty of time to spend your points. However, just keep in mind, if you don't have enough points to buy any items in the seasonal shop, you won't be able to farm anymore after the maintenance. Now, while we're on the topic of this seasonal event, please make sure that you actually complete some of the limited time tasks over here, such as earn seasonal points. You just need 1,000,000 seasonal points and you get 1 End Master Cube over here. This one's a little bit more tricky if you did miss out on several days of dailies, because this requires you to do 150 dailies, so there's no way to binge this, unfortunately. So if you're not already at like 140 out of 150, it's going to be fairly difficult to actually complete this one. It's actually going to be like almost impossible to complete this one, but nevertheless, if you're close to it, please make sure to complete it, because you do get rewarded another End Master Cube, which is pretty nice. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are the Halloween 2023 special scratch tickets over here. As you can see over here, I have 138 of them. I did get 80 of them from the event shop, so make sure that you actually buy out the event shop. You actually get 80 of these tickets right off the bat. And then the rest I got from, I think, dailies, as well as just farming the giant mutants. I did farm quite a bit of giant mutants. I think I farmed about like maybe 20 tickets or like 15 tickets from the giant mutants so far. So the drop rate's not that bad. It does drop pretty often. As long as you boost your rare drop rate a little bit, I highly recommend people to get the mag buff, the alliance buff, your food buff, and that's pretty much all you need, because we do have that inbuilt 100% RDR this week. So you want to take full advantage of that if you are farming for these Halloween tickets. Just understand that you won't be able to farm any more of these tickets after the maintenance. However, you still have a week to spend the tickets. So the scratch isn't going away until the 22nd, so you can hold on to the tickets and spend them all next week. You're going to be perfectly fine. Now, as for the scratches, the remix line November 2023 is going away, as you can see here on November 15. So if there are any outfits over here that you want, you might want to spend your AC ASAP and scratch for them. But more importantly is going to be the SG scratch over here, the refined form September 2023. As you can see right here, it will be going away on November 15, and we will be getting a new SG scratch. So the main thing that I want you to pay attention over here is to make sure that you use your selector ticket from the mission pass on this scratch, because if you don't spend that selector ticket, it kind of gets wasted and you can't really use it for anything else. All right, with all of that out of the way, the next thing I want to talk about are the Arks Records. So the Arks Records this week is the South Attempt Dash Solo. Just make sure that you actually do it so that you do get your 20 Arks Record badges. And as usual, the reason why you want your Arks Record badges is to pick up all the weapon camos, the star gems, as well as the arms refiners or Aegis Integra if you want them. Personally, I wouldn't even bother with the arms refiners anymore, simply because the giant mutants drop them fairly often. So if you do want more arms refiners, just farm the giant mutants as well as the veterans this week. Take full advantage of that 100% RDR. You're gonna get a ton of arms refiners. They also drop the new armors as well. If you need Octo Armors, Arga, Belta, Shezas, you can get that. They drop Tisha weapons if you want that. They also drop the scratch tickets if you need that. So yeah, farming giant mutants this week is a very good idea. The next thing I want to talk about is the Aegis Integra exchange over here, and down here you can pick up all of your different dominas in order to craft your Hal finales. However, the giant mutants also drop a lot of dominas, like an ungodly amount of dominas, as well as notes. So that actually help you complete all of your alliance tasks incredibly quickly, as well as give you a good stockpile of dominas in order to craft your Hal finales. Now, another thing I want to point out is when you're farming all of these giant mutants, you may have noticed a lot of Neo J weapons dropping. Personally, I think the Neo J weapons have a lot of value, especially if you're planning to farm Darkfall Solace next week. Remember, Darkfall Solace is literally going to be the new mining rig defense starting from next week, because it does have a chance of dropping the 10-star rarity weapons through the urgent quest, through the triggers, through the 4-player version Sign of the Planet Breaker. All of those variations of Darkfall Solace will have a chance of dropping the 10 stars, so people are going to be spamming the living daylights out of that. And well, it just so happens that Darkfall Solace is weak to the light element. So please don't sleep on your Neo J weapons, especially if you're still using a seasonal weapon, because remember, starting from next week, all of the enemies are being reverted back to normal enemies, which means your seasonal weapon is still going to be okay, but it's not going to be very strong, simply because the seasonal augment over here is not going to work anymore. You can change the seasonal augment to a different augment and your weapon is still going to be effective. It's still going to be fine. However, if you're farming Darkfall Solace and you don't have a Veshmel weapon, or you don't have like a 9-star rarity weapon that is relatively strong with a high fixa, then you might want to invest into a Neo J weapon with a very high fixa, because right now these Neo J weapons with fixas are dropping like candy. So you can literally farm a high fixa Neo J weapon, slap on some LC capsules, and that weapon is going to outperform a lot of Veshmel weapons, especially if you only have like a fixa Termina 1 or a vanilla version of the Veshmel weapons. Then the Neo J weapon is definitely going to be a lot more effective against Darkfall Solace. That's the asterisk right there, guys. Only against Darkfall Solace, simply because Darkfall Solace is weak to the light element, and you do gain bonus damage when you use the correct element against certain enemies. So the Neo J weapons is definitely something that you might want to look into investing, especially if you do plan to farm Darkfall Solace a lot. Even if you're like me and you already have like a Fixa Termina 3 on your Veshmel weapons, the Neo J weapons are still a viable choice. It's still something that you can look into, especially if you can get a Fixa 4 or Fixa 5 on it. Personally, I think it would be equally as effective, if not better, than the Veshmel weapons. And last but not least, don't forget to exchange your alliance badges for your star gems over here. You can pick up another 30 star gems, so I'm gonna do that right now. And wabam, 30 star gems achieved.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.